I'm Luciana Garcia. Welcome to Social Saturdays. Every week, I interview an expert on a topic that I believe can assist my audience in getting through these crazy times. Um, Today, many creatives and businesses have had to shift their focus online. So I invited Lauren here, a PR and marketing consultant, to tell us a little bit about digital marketing and how to get our message across in the online world. Let me tell you a little bit about her and her background, and then we'll get right to it. Lauren Salaun is a PR and marketing consultant, a healthy lifestyle expert, media personality, and entrepreneur. While helping people live their healthiest lives and dipping her toes into the world of fitness competitions over the past several years, Lauren continued her PR and social media consulting and coaching, supporting entrepreneurs in health, wellness, lifestyle, and personal development industries in building their influence online and monetizing their social media. Lauren has extensive experience in public relations, marketing, and media from Crisis PR, which, by the way, mad respect, girl,
Oh, thank you.
to running her own social media management company and now PR agency. That's exciting. To being an on-air podcast personality, red carpet host, and influencer. In 2019, Lauren launched Influence Impact, Influence and Impact, a PR and influencer marketing agency where she helps entrepreneurs elevate their visibility and establish authority in their industry so they can increase their income and make an even bigger impact. That's exciting too.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us today. Can you start by telling us a little bit about like your driving force? What gets you ticking? Why PR consulting?
Of course. So, yeah, it's interesting because even thinking back, like my entire journey and just like earlier and growing up and everything like that, I have always loved to connect with people. And I'm naturally very extroverted, so like a little bit of a social butterfly going on. And it's funny because as I was looking at what to major in college, I went through the handbook and I just circled all the classes that sounded interesting to me, and was like, all right, this is how we're going to figure out. Because for me, I don't necessarily have a dream job or like that one thing that I have to do. I could be happy doing a lot of different things. For me, I'm so much more driven by what my lifestyle looks like and what my lifestyle feels like and how I get to live my life. I'm very motivated by freedom and flexibility. So it doesn't, the how and the what doesn't have to look a certain way for me. And so in college, when I was deciding what I wanted to study, it was like, okay, well, what classes sound awesome to me? And ultimately, like all the stuff I circled, it kind of bubbled up and fell into communications and graphic design. So I've loved art my whole life, and I had plenty of space in my schedule to do two majors, coming in with credits from high school and everything like that. So I went for both. And I love the communications industry, and I always have. I've studied a lot of languages and everything. So just been fascinated by communicating in different ways, whether that's visually, verbally, through movies, podcasts, this sort of format, social media, like all the different ways we can communicate and connect with people it's always been something that's really appealed to me. And PR, I see it as something like, when I tell people what I do on a very like simple basis, like boil it down, I'm like, I get to make friends online and in real life, and then connect my friends who are doing awesome stuff in the world with my other friends so that they can create a win-win situation between them. So I'm like, that's what my job is. Like, I am a master connector, and I'm able to like step back and see how those natural connections and relationships can like create something bigger and benefit both sides. And so that's always been something that I've loved. And it's funny because over the last year, I'm like, okay, how do I get paid to just like know a lot of people and connect them with other people? Because I'm really great at that. And yeah, so brought me back like full force into starting my own PR agency, because like you already mentioned, you know, my background is very much in marketing, PR, advertising, everything like that. So it's not, this career is not new for me, but starting my own agency, and you know, you kind of hinted to it, crisis PR was most of my PR experience, which is
That's relaxing.
super intense, super stressful, crazy work hours. Every client of ours is having an emergency, you know, so it was a lot, and a lot to decompress from after I left. And so I had a lot of like kind of PTSD going on with getting back into PR full time. And so when I was able to boil it down to, wait a second, I love to connect with people who are doing awesome things in the world, like whether they're things that I am interested in or not. When someone's really passionate about what they do, like that's so freaking cool to me. And so being able to piece those things together and like help others elevate their stories and get their passions out into the world in a bigger way, that's so much fun for me. So that's a lot of my driving force, is connection and connecting those dots with people, and like almost like matchmaking people with cool stories and platforms and everything like that. Cause I'm like, oh my gosh, do you know so-and-so? And do you know so-and-so? You guys could do this amazing thing together. Let's do it. And just so happens that I'm able to get paid for that kind of stuff, which is wonderful.
Yeah, wow, that is such a beautiful way to put it. And I love what you say about creating win-win situations. I think today in the world, like creating that collaborative I'm having trouble.
Collaborative, yeah. No, it's okay. Collaborative.
Yeah, collaborative field is a really powerful thing to do. Wow, yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people struggle with the difference between PR and marketing and what exactly these terms are. So can you define some basic concepts for us?
Absolutely. So the way that I describe it is marketing is essentially the like overarching umbrella that, and what marketing is at the like very simple level, marketing is about connecting your product, your service, whatever it is that you do, with the people who that you want to buy your thing. So it's just you connecting your product or service with your client. Like that's basically what marketing is, right? And then underneath marketing, you've got things like branding, advertising, and PR or public relations. And so all of those pieces should be part of your like, you know, visibility strategy, you know, your plan, your marketing plan, essentially. And the way that PR is different from all of those, if you think about, I had created this graphic at the beginning of quarantine, because remember when like everyone was going mad over toilet paper and there was not enough toilet paper for people and stuff like that. So I made this graphic that kind of describes the different, like those different categories, marketing, PR, branding, advertising, with toilet paper terms and stuff like that. So I'll like reenact it, if you will. This will be really fun for everybody to watch. So if you think of marketing is like saying to somebody, so you saying to your customer, I have toilet paper. Okay, cool. We're talking about what we've got to sell, telling our customer. And then advertising is going to be a lot more kind of in your face and obvious, if you will. So it's like, I have toilet paper. I have toilet paper. Oh, hey, I have toilet paper. Remember, I've got toilet paper. And then if we think about branding is going to be much more like a feeling and like a knowingness kind of. So if we think about Apple or something like that, you know, how somebody might be like, oh, I'm getting an iPhone. And someone's like, well, why are you getting an iPhone? Like, oh, because it's the best phone. Well, how do you know? Oh, I just know. And that's because Apple does such a great job of branding. You just have this feeling that they're the best and you have to go with them. And so if we apply the toilet paper example, it's like, oh, like I understand that you have toilet paper. It's like the client knows that somehow. And then if we look at PR, so public relations is different from all of those because it incorporates third-party credibility. So third-party validation and trust. So instead of saying like, you know, you speaking directly to your customer or your potential clients, it's somebody else saying, trust me, she has toilet paper.
Yeah.
So you've got that added layer of validation, that added layer of trust, that added layer of credibility, because somebody else is vouching for you. Somebody else is speaking on your behalf. So that's how I describe the difference with PR is that you've got other people speaking up for you and saying how amazing you are, whether that's, a YouTube channel like this, like, you having me on, this is a PR activity, and your audience is like, well, we know the kind of guests that she has on, and they're usually awesome, right? So Lauren must be awesome too. That's right. That's the hope. So same thing with like a podcast host or an influencer reposting something, or a media article, like, that publication, like all those third-party outlets, if you will add a layer of credibility to whatever is being spoken about. So that's how I describe it for people. It's that third-party factor.
Yeah, okay. That's very straightforward. Thank you. It leaves
of course.
concept a lot more clear in my head.
Yeah.
And it's true what you say, like from a consumer perspective, if I get a recommendation about a product, I am way more likely to go with that product than if I see an ad about the product.
Yes.
I am potentially, if it's a product I need, I might buy it from the ad, or from whatever marketing the company itself is doing. But a recommendation from a third party is a lot more powerful in my consumer brain, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, think about right now, like I'm ordering off Amazon Prime like every single day, and I am going to lean toward the products that have more customer reviews and then go read them. So like them getting reviews, that's a PR, a PR thing, because it's social proof, it's proof from other people. And we can go into how Amazon, like, you can pay for reviews and all that stuff, but that's exactly the point. Like that third party factor, or somebody else talking about it who's not like affiliated with the company.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, and if I go into Amazon and I see the description of the product, and the product says this product, like it fits all my needs as a consumer, and then I see it has 2 stars, I'm probably not going to buy it. On the other hand, if I go into the product, it has no description of it. Like I see that the product, it's the product I need, but it doesn't have a big description about how great they are, but it has 5 stars and people saying that it'll fit all my needs, I'll definitely buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Can you talk to us about getting a message across with good digital marketing and how to get more PR? What are some of your hottest tips?
Yeah, so a few things that I like to tell everybody, because I think a lot of people feel like, and not I think, like I know a lot of people feel like they have to get to a certain level in their business before they can incorporate PR, or I have to make a certain amount of money before I'm allowed to, do PR stuff or get featured in publications or podcast episodes and stuff like that. And, or even just hit a certain income level or be in business for a certain amount of time and everything. And one, that's not the case. I think it's something you should be factoring in from day one, right? Because if people don't know about your business, how are you going to make money and grow your business? So a lot of people think that like, oh, well, I have to cross this like imaginary line before I'm allowed to do PR, which one, that's not the case. The only things that I tell people, like before you start getting your message out there and pursuing PR activities, is know who your ideal client is. So who's that like dream person that you want to connect with and work with? And so many people are like, well, everybody can buy my thing or blah, 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 whatever it is. And while that may be true in a lot of situations, deep down, we all have like that dream person that it's like, oh, if I had 20 people who are just like this person wanting to work with me, that would be amazing, And even you as a musician, like, it's like, oh, well, if I had like all my fans were just like this one super fan, that would be so much fun, or if you get it. Yeah. And so knowing who that ideal client is, that's one of the key things. And then knowing how you help them. So you need to know then what they're struggling with, what they want, like what are their pain points, their pleasure points, and how do you help them get more of what they want and like less of what they don't want, right? So how do you solve those problems for them, and how does your solution help them? So knowing that, like, ideal client, your solution, and how you help that person. And then ideally, like when you get your message out there, and good digital marketing is, you've also got a way to work with people. So people can either go to your website and buy something from you, or you're ready to take on one-on-one clients or coaching, whatever that looks like for your business. So those are the things before someone starts to really put their message out there. Is those are like the 3 pretty basic things that I would say you need to do. But then getting your message across with good marketing and a few hot tips, and like specifically PR tips, is like you show up for one, and you get really clear on those things. So the ideal client, how you help them, and then you talk about that consistently. So you're talking right to that one dream person, and you're talking about how you help them and how you can make their life so much better, and whatever the case is, and you like stay super clear on that. That's a really great way to get your message across. And then as far as some like hot tips for PR right now, like in the current climate with all of us being home for the most part and stuff like that, like there is so much going on online, whether that's, guesting on a YouTube show like this, like doing podcast interviews on other people's podcasts, doing Instagram live collaborations. That's a great, these are all great, free, easy things to do. If you know somebody who has a coaching program or a community, you can be a guest expert in that community or in that group. Asking clients for testimonials, video testimonials or written testimonials. That's great PR to get, so you can share that, again, that social proof. What else? I mean, online publications, absolutely. So there's so many different ways to get your message out there and really leverage PR right now.
Yeah, I think what you say about knowing who you're talking to is very important. I personally sometimes forget that the reason I'm posting is so that someone in my audience sees it.
Yeah.
And so that I'm through posting or creating content or online of any kind, I am talking to somebody. So it's important to have a clear idea of who that person is. With a screen in between us, sometimes it's easier to forget, right? But I think it's just obviously just as important. So,
right, exactly. Yeah, because even companies like, and people watching this can look this up, it's really interesting, like even Lululemon, one of the biggest, most successful like activewear brands out there, so many different people shop at Lululemon, right? So many different people. Lululemon has a very specific ideal client, like avatar, if you will, that they've written out, like who this dream person is. They have a female and a male version. And so that is like in their marketing, in their stores, like their designs, everything is done with these 2 like characters, if you will, in mind. That doesn't mean other people,
Avatars, these 2
avatars. Yeah. That doesn't mean that other people can't shop there, or they're not like happy that other people shop there. Absolutely. They're like, yeah, whoever wants, come buy our stuff, of course. But they're very clear on who that like exact person is that they are creating for. And that, I believe, is something that everybody needs to do. Like, shoot, I bet even Amazon Prime, because we've been talking about, I bet Amazon's got that, like, oh, our ideal person to shop at Amazon is like this, makes about this much money, has kids or doesn't have kids, whatever it is, thinking about all those details.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I'm, as you're speaking, I'm thinking about how this applies to music and being an independent artist, like myself. and I think like it's not that other people outside of my target demographic won't listen to my music or are not allowed to listen to my music. They're obviously, everyone is welcome from all backgrounds and all everything, and encouraged to come, of course. It's just there's a target audience that reacts to the music in a more like super fast.
It just hits them bigger. And so even with that, like, it is something to think about. Okay, what is, because if you think about being an artist, you're like, well, I'm creating for myself a lot of the time too. And while that's very true, I'm sure you're also thinking like, okay, what message do I want to get across with this song? What message am I telling, or what's my intention with this song? And then you think about, okay, what is my like super fan that's excited for a new song? Like, what do they need right now? Or would this help them? Or how would this like get them to think differently, or whatever the case? Yeah. I love that.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, in the creative process itself, like of writing a song, I don't usually think as much about the audience. It's like because that just kind of happens.
Yeah.
And but then like once I have a song and in the whole production process, I definitely think about my community and who's going to listen to this and how can I serve them, because if I was just writing, if I stopped there, like if it was just for myself and it wasn't, I did not have the purpose of building a community and inspiring people and empowering people, I would just stop there. I would just stop at the
Mm-hmm.
songwriting, oh, and my guitar, and that's it,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, definitely, definitely great stuff. I am loving this. I am learning so
Oh,
much.
thank you. Oh, good. That makes me so happy.
Um, okay, so how can we build? Well, we have touched on this a little bit, but any more uh, advice on how to build that quality following um,
Yes.
on in the online world?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, knowing who that person is that you are here to help, because if we show up and we're trying to talk to everybody, we're really going to talk to nobody, because we're going to be so like general and trying to please everyone or appeal to everybody that we're not actually getting a clear message across or clear enough. And again, like we're not here to like be the answer for every single person, and that's totally okay. Like we're not every person's flavor, right? And so keeping like locked on to that ideal client, that ideal customer, that ideal fan, whoever it is, and speaking directly to them, knowing like almost being obsessed with them, how they think, how they spend their time, what they need, what they don't need, what they want, like what keeps them up at night, all that kind of stuff. So really tailoring your content to that person. And then another thing, so like ideal customer and speaking to them, ideal client, speaking to them. And then another thing I would say is to also show up consistently, like show up, even on days when you don't feel like you have anything important to say or anything like that. Like, and don't just like post and show up like with nothing, but like be consistent and continue to show up. And if I know, like for me, the last couple months, there have been times where I'm like, oof, I am like, social media is heavy right now. And like, it is not fun for me. And I'm not enjoying being on here really. Like, I mean, can anyone relate? Probably. And so there were times where like I've been fostering dogs the last couple months. And I'm like, you know what? Instead of a lot of business content on my stories right now, this next week, I'm gonna give myself a break from being like, oh, super businessy all the time or whatever, and it's just gonna be like this puppy, and
I
so,
love it.
but still showing up,
Yeah.
and who doesn't love dogs on social media, right? It's like a sure way to get more engagement. So tip, get a dog. I'm just kidding. And so showing up consistently, and then I think too, another thing is people buy from and like become loyal to people they know, like, and trust. So we get the like know factor from like showing up consistently and being present, right? And sharing and being authentic. The like factor, again, that's going to come with familiarity and showing who we are as humans. And trust, again, like that all boils down to consistency, authenticity, like all of that. So I would say being authentic. And so on those days, like I literally yesterday in my stories freaking cried in my stories. I was having a emotional day yesterday. I cried a lot, and at some point shared some of that process on my stories. And I also shared like, okay, and here's what I do now to like shift out of this state when I'm feeling super emotional during a day. And you guys got to see it. I'm being real, I'm being raw. Like I don't like cry on my stories all the time, but like, here you go. You guys get to see like, yeah, it's not always like crushing it in business and puppies and amazing. Like sometimes like you feel like crap. And so it's okay to own that and show that you're a real human, and then not just do it for the sake of like doing it to like show that, you're not always happy, whatever it is, but being like, okay, so what's the lesson for me in this that I can share with others that might be helpful?
Yeah.
right? And so to sum that up is like speaking to your ideal client, ideal customer, ideal fan, follower, whoever that is, like directly to them and really knowing how they think and what they want, what they don't want, showing up consistently and being authentic, like showing the real stuff. Because if we're showing up like and only posting the highlight reel, people don't like that. People want to see the real stuff. So when we're authentic and genuine and even showing like the less awesome stuff, people are going to be able to relate to us a lot more. So authenticity, absolutely.
Where true connection begins between you know, a service being provided and its community. Because I find that the people that I used to follow a lot of like super fit, super wonderful influencers on social media that didn't show that, and I got discouraged. Like it's exciting at first, like it has this like aspirational kind of rush in the beginning, but then it gets discouraging because that's only one side of
you're like, well, I can't be perfect every single day. Well, like, oh, it's so easy for her to be perfect every single day and and she's never sad or she never slips up on her diet or misses a workout or feels lazy or whatever it is, when that's not the case at all. We're all human, right? And so showing the more human sides of us makes us so much more relatable, and people will trust us more because they're like, oh, see, like she's real. So yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think it's so important that we're talking about this, because social media has had this like misconception of like not being an authentic outlet for people, and obviously like we can just change that. It's not social media's fault. And it's not the platform itself that needs to change anything. It's just the content we put there. So and we can start with our own content. I think that's very powerful.
And too, especially right now, like we're so limited right now with like in-person social interaction, and like, oh, it is like, I don't know about you, but I'm very extroverted. Like, so I'm like talking to the dog all day long. I'm like, I need some humans, you know. I can only do so many Zoom calls, but and so I think it's even more important now to show that authentic side on social media, because like we're so disconnected right now. And I think it's gonna like, it's having an effect on people. So being able to be real online is even more important, I think, than ever.
Yeah, definitely. I talk to my guitar all the time. I don't have a pet here in the US, but I have a stuffed animal. His name is Raimundo, and I talk to him too.
Amazing. Yeah. What I usually say during the day to the dog, I'm like, I tell her how cute she is, and usually it's like anytime I stand up to go to the bathroom, I'm like, you don't need to walk to the bathroom with me every single time I get up. Like, I'm like, you can stay right there. Like that's most of my conversations around the house lately.
I'm just like, Raimundo recently, he was in my bed, and I got new pillows. He doesn't match, so I put him in my shelf. And my last conversation with him was, I apologize to him, and I'm like,
I'm sorry that you're on the shelf and not in the comfortable bed, but aesthetically,
like,
it's
I
really
just apologize to a stuffed animal. Oh my god.
I probably talk to my stuffed animals too. I've got two.
Okay. Okay, I'm not the only one. Great.
It's all right. It's all right.
Lauren, can you tell us a little bit about what you're working on right now, and how can we support you? How can we follow up?
Yeah. Absolutely. So right now, my business is kind of like two-pronged. I've got, like you mentioned already, my PR agency where we have PR clients where we do everything for them, get them booked on podcasts, get them media placements, speaking engagements, that kind of stuff. And then I also, on the like other side of it, I teach other entrepreneurs how to do their own PR. So how to
PR accelerator.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And so teach other entrepreneurs. So small business owners, online business owners, you name it. I've got influencers, I've got an actress, like all across the board, how to get more visibility. And this, like that right now is so important because we're all online, you know, and showing up in the online space. So helping these business owners grow their business by putting themselves out there and getting more media coverage and getting podcast interviews, all that kind of stuff. And so that's what I'm really excited about. We're about halfway through with the current class, and the next group will start. I'm actually just starting to talk about it. The next group is going to start in the end of August. So that's what I'm really, really stoked for. So yeah, the PR accelerator, that's what I'm really, really excited about. And you can keep up with me really on Instagram is like the best place for it. So it's just my name. I'm sure you'll post that, but just Lauren Salaun all over. Yeah, that's where to keep up with me.
This is fantastic. Thank you so much.
That was wonderful.
And thank you so much for joining me today and for giving us all these tips. I know a lot of people have been like, oh my God, digital marketing. So I think this is going to be very helpful. It was definitely helpful for me. Yeah.
Good. That makes me really happy. And yeah, and it's something, you guys, like watching this, you don't have to have it all planned out and have like, you do every single thing. Like you start small, but just start. Like start sharing your message and putting yourself out there and keep going. You figure it out more effectively along the way. It doesn't have to be perfect, and you don't have to do every single thing at one time. Just like jump in and freaking go for it.
I like it. Love it. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I will see you next week in Social Saturdays.
Awesome. Thank you.